Hello YouTube, once again it is the Reverend. I am back. This is my second video of the week. This is actually a lot more than I'm usually doing, and especially away from doing it with the comfort of being surrounded by my friends, the other middle-aged guys. But as you know, September 7th, 2016 has actually been really interesting for the game industry and also for the smartphone industry. Two very important meetings or press conferences were held today. Apple went ahead and they held their keynote speech for 2016, where they went out of their way to announce their brand new iPhone and their new Apple Watch, and also try to impress upon us that everybody needed to invest in some really expensive Bluetooth earbuds. But the thing that was interesting with that particular one that surprised me was that Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto was there at the keynote speech, and he came out and he announced that he was there to reveal the brand new partnership that Nintendo has with Apple, and that they were going to, he unveiled the very first official Nintendo made game for a smartphone, and that would be Mario Run. Which looks really interesting. It's looks like it's an infinite runner type game where you sit there and you start running right, just like with the Mario side scrollers, and you tap the screen to go ahead and make Mario jump. You tap it a little bit harder, make use of that 3D glass to go ahead and make him jump a little bit higher, and you go ahead and you play through Mario levels made especially for the Apple phone. Now, whether or not that's going to be anything else like any of the Marios or stylized like any of the things that you find in Mario Maker, where you can pick from 8-bit, 16-bit, or up until the brand new Mario styles of artwork and everything, is completely unknown at this time. And unfortunately, there isn't any sort of there isn't a set in stone launch date or a price for it. But according to Nintendo, it's going to be an affordable price. It's not going to be a free-to-play game. But it's going to be an affordable price for all iterations of the game. And I guess somewhere along the line, somebody leaked out that there is going to be an Android version, which should be pretty cool. The other thing that was interesting was that they announced that they were going to port over Pokemon Go for the Apple Watch. Now, Apple Watch is a funny thing. I guess if you're somebody who needs a smart device that goes ahead and acts as a GPS tracker for you and does all the Fitbit type functions and everything else. If your phone isn't enough as it is, I guess the Apple Watch is cool. But I have this distinct mental image of people running around looking like they're playing parts in these make-believe sci-fi or spy movies, doing this all the time as they're looking for Pokemon. At least they don't have to worry about carrying something like this the whole time. But still, they're going to be looking at an even smaller display trying to play the game. But, I can't hack Nintendo for it. It's a smart move. I mean, there are a lot of people out there who criticize them openly, saying that they should stop making video game consoles, that they should just go third party like Sega did. Well, it didn't work out too well for Sega, but that's because of a few other things. I don't agree with that particular view for the fact that we need a company that's a dedicated gaming company in the industry. Aside from third-party publishers, even then, aside from third-party developers and publishers, there isn't any one first-party publisher that exists in the video game industry nowadays that is completely gaming-centric, that is solely a gaming company. Sony is not solely a gaming company. Microsoft is not solely a gaming company. That only leaves Nintendo there as the sole first-party gaming company of the industry. And you know what? I'm not going to hack them for going out of their way and finding a way to license their IPs out or develop titles for platforms that don't dig into their portion of the industry. Because let's just face it, as popular as smartphones have become, this has not become the leading source of gaming for people. I mean, it's great if you've got a few minutes and you're stuck in line or you're waiting for the bus or whatnot. Um, you know, or but a lot of times, this is really a nice stopgap to just fill a little bit of time. You don't get a very deep gaming experience out of this. Contrary to popular belief, that hasn't happened yet. So if Nintendo can go ahead and buttress their portfolio or make money off of putting software out on a platform that doesn't threaten their position in the video game industry, it's just a smart thing to do. Kudos to them. I don't. That's not going to mean that they're going to stop making their AAA games for their own systems. No, they're still going to do that because you cannot get the type of gaming experience that Nintendo is known for out of this. On to Sony. Big news, of course, actually the only news everybody was expecting it. The official announcement of the PS4 Slim is set to be releasing out actually this month, September 15th, 2016, at a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $299.99. It's just a smaller, sleeker package, more quiet. It runs cooler and everything else. Nothing special between the PS4 Slim and the current PS4. It's actually just going to take the current PS4's place in the market as the base system that they have out. And the existing stock of PS4s, once that runs out, they're not going to manufacture them anymore. Then you have the PS4 Pro, formerly known as the PS4 Neo. The PS4 Pro is the upper tier console that they are putting out, mostly to take advantage of a few things. Basically, take advantage of 4K gaming, 4K streaming, and also to make use of the PS4 VR and actually allow use of the PS4 VR not to be an abysmal experience. So we've got the higher spec PS4 Pro. Let's see here, which is running an 8-core Jaguar AMD processor. The GPU is running at 4.2 teraflops, which doesn't match the 6 teraflops that the Project Scorpio on Microsoft has. But apples to oranges, and there's going to be a price difference because of that. Believe me. It runs 8 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, and it comes standard with 1 terabyte of storage, a hard drive, which unfortunately isn't a lot. I'm pretty sure they're still going to allow you to swap out the internal hard drive to something bigger, with games clocking in up to 54 gigabytes on a single game, on a single Blu-ray disc. 1 terabyte of space really only translates to around like 18-19 games at most, if they're all full-size games. Especially if they're going to encourage people to go out of their way and stream and download digital media and digital content as much as they're hoping it's going to catch on. Hard drive space is going to come at a premium. That right there is a little anemic, but better than 500 gigabytes for sure. Speaking of 4K streaming and stuff like that, they announced that they're actually putting together a brand new Netflix app to support new 4K Netflix media or Netflix videos that'll be coming out and that'll be releasing later on this year. And that's kind of the junction that everybody is with 4K. If you don't have a 4K TV, that's really not going to benefit you all that much. But at least, but if you do, then this will allow you access to go ahead and take advantage of that ultra high definition media that will come down the pipe from Netflix and other services that are out there that are planning to make that available. Other than that, that was pretty much it. PS4 Pro, really there to make PSVR a viable VR solution for people. Now, whether or not they support it as much as we hope they do, only time will tell. Sony isn't the best when it comes to supporting out their peripherals. They're really hoping that VR is going to take off, but time will tell. And the interesting about this too is that, you know, we're at an interesting point where they've announced both systems out, and they're going to be hitting the market within basically 2 months of each other. The big question for a lot of people who have either regular PS4s right now or don't have any PS4 and they're entertaining the thought of picking one up is, well, do I really have a reason to pick up a PS4 Slim over a PS4 Pro? Personally, I'd rather wait for the Pro. But the thing that I think I have to say just honestly is that waiting it out and seeing how things handle, especially if you're really on the fence and you're not hurting to get a brand new console, waiting is going to do you a lot of good. Generally speaking, the folks at Microsoft and at Sony are saying that this is going to be their last generational console. They don't want to go ahead and wait for that 5-7 year gap between hardware iterations or major hardware iterations that represent a huge jump in gaming fidelity. So what they're hoping to do is that they're trying to model the game industry or hardware for the game industry like the smartphone industry, where you have a brand new smartphone out every year, and they want people to go out of their way and buy brand new consoles and upgrade every 1 or 2 years. Now, they say everything's going to be forward compatible as far as all of the games that are out there, and that the existing game library for the PS4 should be patched to take advantage of the PS4 Pro, which in itself presents its own issues, and I've stated in other videos that you find previously that I have posted up in this channel. But yeah, if it turns out that there's going to be another hardware revision or another major hardware revision, or if they have a Pro version 2 coming out in another year, in 2017 or something like that, or 2018, waiting a little while to see how everything settles, especially with how what's bothering me, what makes me really cautious is seeing how the established library ends up being compatible with the PS4 Pro. If there are issues with the established library on the PS4 Pro, especially at launch, I'm not going to get it right away. I'd rather let those things work out, get a hold of the system, and then not have to worry about similar technical issues and challenges that I would have playing on a PC. Otherwise, why don't I just get a high-end PC? And that's really the debate that a lot of people have to go out of their way to answer for themselves. Your mileage is going to vary either way. If you're somebody who just thinks that playing on the PS4 right now is fine, and that there are existing games that are out there right now that you would want to play as soon as possible, then get yourself a regular PS4 or PS4 Slim. If you're somebody who thinks that, hey, I would like the extra hardware capabilities, maybe I'm not going to use PS4 VR, PSVR, maybe I'm just going to squeeze it for a few extra frames per second while I'm playing on my 1080p TV, that's also a very viable option. Maybe that's better off for you. But I just don't want to deal with like the type of challenges with constant driver updates or firmware updates or patching for games because of a variable hardware spec out there like you do on the PC. Granted, I know things are a lot better than they were maybe 5 years ago, and even better than they were back in like 10 years ago in 2006. But it's still something I run into on a regular basis that kind of bugs me, especially when I'm on my downtime. Now, that also comes to address something that I saw yesterday, which was the PS4 Forever screenshot or image that was leaked out. It was fake as shit. Come on. All right, I called it. Look, the truth of the matter is that if it wasn't obvious, I can't imagine that anybody putting this together for like a PowerPoint presentation or a huge international presentation like the PlayStation 4 meeting or the PlayStation meeting was today, even at its boring 45 minutes length. I can't imagine anybody going out of their way putting together promotional material for an internationally broadcasted meeting that would be completely devoid of, double checking spelling and grammar mistakes. Really, it looked like something that was cooked up by, I don't know, a Nigerian phishing scam. That's something that you'd find in email. That's like, oh, please contact our bank so you can get a hold of 250 pounds from this African government or African prince. Yeah, that's it was horrible. If I don't actually show the image itself, I'll go ahead and I'll leave a link below with breaking it down and all of that. But it's just, yeah, it was fake. It was fake, and really, although it was just one day, it created enough of a stir, and it was just ridiculous, the amount of anticipation that was created by it. I understand it was fueled by the fact that images and reviews for the PS4 Slim were leaked out, but it's one of those things where, without a source and everything else, it's better to let, I don't know, it's better to let things just settle and see how they play out, because that was fake as crap. All right. Other than that, I think that's really wraps it up for everything that I wanted to go ahead and say on this video. Like I say at the end of every video, thank you for spending the last 16 minutes with me. I know your time is precious and valuable to you, and I really appreciate it. If you're so kind, hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave me a comment below, especially if you think I've missed something or there is something else that caught your eye during either the Apple or the Sony PlayStation meetings or keynotes conference that, interested you, that tickled your fancy. Now, every comment is the start of a brand new conversation, and every good conversation, I always say this about them: if in a good conversation I make you stop for a moment and consider, just for a little bit, something that I'm saying, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. I've accomplished much more than you've ever imagined. See you later, YouTube.